So, I want to start today with a question. And I don't mean a casual how are you kind of question. I mean the kind that if you really sit with it might just ruin your afternoon.
Oh, wow. We're just jumping right into the deep end today then. No easing in.
No easing in, but it's worth it, I promise. So here it is. Have you ever really stopped to think where the truth you believe actually comes from?
Okay.
And before you answer, before you say from facts, obviously, there's a really specific detail from our source today. The author, Dr. Antonio Massucati Neto, or Massuca as he's known, he insists that we have to put the word truth in quotation marks.
That's such a crucial point right off the bat. He says those quotes aren't just for decoration, they're a warning label.
A warning label.
Yeah, like on something hazardous, because without the quotes, the word truth has this weight, this solidity that most of our beliefs just.
Yeah.
They can't hold up if you really start questioning them.
Exactly. We all like to think our beliefs are, built on this solid bedrock of facts and logic. But Masuka's point is we're living in a world where information just hits us completely out of context.
Right. You read the headline, not the article. You form the opinion before you even understand the issue.
And that's really the core of what we're getting into in this deep dive. We're going to look at what he calls the invisible ecosystem of belief.
And just to be clear, we are not here to tell you what to believe. The mission today is to help you dismantle how you came to believe it in the first place.
It's a bit meta. We're going to touch on cognitive traps, why medical consensus can be dangerous, how labels are weaponized, and this is where it gets a little sci-fi, how AI might be making it all so much worse.
It's a total Matrix moment, isn't it? We're offering to show you the code behind your own convictions.
I love that. Okay, so let's start with the psychology. Masuka has this thought experiment that I found, well, honestly, a little uncomfortable. He says, think about the last really strong opinion you defended. You know, at a family dinner, at work, in a text thread. You are absolutely certain.
We've all been there.
Right. And the question he poses is, how did that certainty get into your head? Did you really read the original study? Check the methodology.
And be honest with yourself, did you maybe just read a summary or hear
Yeah.
a podcast or see something that just fit, that felt right, that lined up with what you already wanted to believe?
I mean, I feel personally attacked by that because who has the time to go check the methodology on everything?
Nobody does, and that's the trap. Masuka points out this is just how our brains are wired to work.
He brings up Daniel Kahneman here, right?
He does, yeah. The Nobel winner.
Yeah.
Kahneman talks about this concept called cognitive substitution. And it's brilliant, but it's also a bit terrifying.
Okay, what if it?
Basically, when your brain is faced with a really hard question, like, is this complex scientific evidence rigorous and valid?
Mm.
That takes a lot of mental energy. It's hard work.
So it cheats.
It shortcuts. It secretly swaps out the hard question for a much, much easier one.
Which is,
Does this information make me feel good? Or does this sound like something my friends would agree with?
wow. So we're not being little scientists weighing the evidence. We're actually just comfort seekers.
That is Masuka's core argument, that our truths, in quotes, are often born from comfort, not from rigor. We confuse the feeling of, this sounds right, with the fact of, this is true.
And this isn't just about politics. I mean, our source is a medical doctor. He's an ultrasonographer with more than 20 years of experience. He's seen this in medicine, a field that's supposed to be purely objective.
And that's what gives this analysis so much teeth. He talks about seeing entire medical paradigms, treatments that were treated as absolute law.
Crumble.
Just crumble.
Yeah.
And the really scary part is how it happens. It's usually silent. There's no big press conference saying, hey, for the last 10 years, we were wrong.
No, the people who are repeating the old truth just move on to the next one.
Right. And he points to the danger of consensus. In medicine, and you see this in corporate culture too, protocols are followed just because that's how we've always done it.
Or because some key opinion leader said so at a conference sponsored by who knows who.
Exactly. That term itself is revealing, isn't it, as key opinion leader. Masuka's point is, if you have 10 experts in a room and they all agree, but not one of them asks, wait, what if we're wrong?
That's not science.
No. He calls it collective comfort. And when consensus replaces actual verification, the patient or the client or the citizen is left completely unprotected.
Now, we should be clear here. This is not about rejecting science.
Not at all. It's the opposite. It's about demanding more from science. Real science lives on questioning. It demands that you attack the evidence without mercy. If you're not allowed to question it, it's not science anymore. It's dogma.
Which is the perfect lead-in to the part of this that I think is going to be the most controversial, the weaponization of labels.
Ah, yes. Specifically the word negacionista, or in English, denier.
This is a heavy word.
It is. And he argues it's become a tool for, like, modern-day excommunication. Think about what that word does in a debate. It doesn't refute your argument.
No, it just disqualifies you as a person.
Yeah.
It's a game over button for the conversation.
Exactly. I call you a denier, and boom, I don't have to engage with your questions anymore. The debate is dead. And he uses some incredible historical examples to show why that is so dangerous.
Like Galileo, Semmelweis.
But the one that really gets me is the story of Barry Marshall.
Oh, the ulcer guy? This story is so wild.
It's a classic. For decades, the medical truth was that ulcers were caused by stress and spicy food. It was basically your fault.
Right, calm down, eat better.
And then Barry Marshall comes along and says, no, I think it's a bacteria, H. pylori. And everyone, the entire medical establishment, thought he was completely crazy.
Use ridicules, right.
Oh, totally. No one would fund his research. No one would listen. So he gets desperate. He goes into his lab. He cultures a beaker full of this bacteria.
You're kidding, he didn't.
He drank it.
No.
Yes. He drank the whole thing, gave himself horrible gastritis and ulcers, and then cured himself with antibiotics, just to prove his point.
That is some next-level commitment.
And he won the Nobel Prize for it. But Massuca's point is chilling. Under today's rules, would he have even gotten that far? Or would he have just been labeled an ulcer denier and silenced?
Wow. That's a scary thought. The argument is that criminalizing the act of questioning is about protecting the current narrative, not about protecting the truth.
Exactly. And look, not every fringe theory is correct. Most are wrong. But the process of questioning has to be sacred. Otherwise, we can never correct our mistakes.
And this whole problem of repeating mistakes gets amplified a million times over when we start talking about algorithms.
The algorithmic echo chamber. This is where we move from human psychology into, well, something else entirely.
Social media algorithms aren't designed to show you what's true, are they?
Not even a little bit. They're designed for one thing: engagement. And what engages human beings?
Outrage, fear, feeling like you're right.
Bingo. So the algorithm builds this perfect little bubble around you. And it's so sophisticated that you start to mistake this curated feed for objective reality. You think you're looking out a window, but you're actually looking in a mirror.
And then, just when you think it can't get more complicated, our source brings in a new player, artificial intelligence.
This is the part of his analysis that really stopped me. Because we think of AI as this super brain, this objective oracle.
Right. But Massuca's warning is that AI models do not and cannot distinguish truth from consensus.
That is the single most important takeaway about AI. These large language models, they're not thinking. They're probability engines. They've read the entire internet, and they are just predicting the most likely next word.
So, if a lie shows up on the internet 1,000 times, and the correction only shows up 10 times...
the AI will reproduce the lie, and it will do it with perfect, confident, fluent prose. It's machined for amplifying frequency, not for verifying facts.
That is terrifying, because if I'm a young doctor, and I ask an AI a question, and it gives me this beautifully written, confident answer, I'm going to believe it.
And that's the multiplier effect he talks about. Imagine that young doctor is already afraid to question the consensus because she doesn't want to be labeled a denier. So she turns to an AI for a second opinion. And the AI, which was trained on that very same consensus,
just reinforces the error. It's like an invisible wall of agreement.
Exactly. The AI trap. It just makes the echo chamber louder and more convincing.
Okay, so this is a lot. We're fighting our own brains, we're fighting social pressure, and now we're fighting hyper-intelligent parrots. So what do? Massuca gives us a framework, a way to fight back.
He does. He gives us the 4 sources of false certainty. It's a super practical tool. When you feel absolutely sure about something, run it through this checklist.
Let's break them down. Number 1, authority without verification.
This is the simple one. Believing something just because of who said it. The CEO, the famous doctor, the person with the fancy title. But, as Massuca says, hierarchy is not epistemology. Someone's job title doesn't make their statement true.
Okay. Number 2, repetition without origin.
This is the everyone knows fallacy. You hear something over and over again, so it starts to feel true. But if you try to trace it back to its source, to the actual data, you often find there's nothing there.
It's just an echo.
It's just an echo. Repetition builds confidence, but it provides zero evidence.
Number 3, Emotion without analysis.
We talked about this. If something makes you feel really strong emotions, anger, hope, fear, your brain flags it as important, probably true. But feeling isn't knowing. In fact, that strong emotional spike should be a warning sign to be more skeptical, not less.
And the last one, number 4, bias without conscience.
This is our brain's deep, deep need for a clean story. We hate contradictions. So we unconsciously filter out information that doesn't fit our narrative. We cherry-pick the data that makes us feel coherent. We don't even know we're doing it.
Authority, repetition, emotion, bias. It's like the 4 horsemen of being confidently wrong.
It really is. And to get past them, Massuca says we need to embrace what he calls the duty to disagree.
I love that phrase, not the right to disagree, the duty.
It reframes it as a professional responsibility. It's not about being a contrarian just for the sake of it. It's about being the one person in the room who cares enough about getting it right to say, hang on, are we sure about this? Let's look again.
And he suggests a practical filter system. Before you let a truth in, you have to ask a few questions. Is the source verifiable? Can the data be reproduced? Who paid for this study?
And this is a big one. Is there an intelligent, qualified person who disagrees? And if so, what is their argument? If you can't answer those, you don't have knowledge, you have faith.
He admits this is hard work, though.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It takes real energy, it takes humility, it takes a willingness to be unpopular in the meeting. But then you have to ask, what's the cost of not doing it?
The cost is wrong diagnoses, bad policies, broken relationships over narratives that weren't even true to begin with.
The cost is very, very real. When we stop questioning, we're not thinking anymore. We're just sleepwalking.
He ends with this phrase, the invitation that bothers.
It's so good. It really is. He's asking you, the listener, to look at your most cherished convictions and ask yourself honestly, where did this come from?
Did it come from a study you actually read? Or did it come from a fear of being kicked out of the tribe? An algorithm?
He's not saying abandon your beliefs. He's saying investigate their foundations.
Because, and this is the bottom line, a real truth that survives that kind of intense questioning actually comes out stronger.
Exactly. But a truth, in quotes, that can't survive being questioned, well, that was never truth in the first place. That was just comfort.
And comfort, he writes, is the most dangerous anesthetic. That line, it just floored me. It's so easy to be sedated by just agreeing with everyone.
It is. And in our current world, that sedative is being pumped through the vents 2/7, staying awake, staying critical. That's an active fight.
So that's our deep dive. The goal here isn't to make you a cynic. It's to encourage you to be a better skeptic, to stress test your own beliefs.
Metaphorically drink the bacteria. Please do not actually drink bacteria.
Right. Unless you are actively trying to win a Nobel Prize. But be the person who asks why, especially when it feels awkward.
Because that is almost always where the real work begins.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Go find a comfortable belief and make it a little uncomfortable today.
See you next time.